Okay, so lying down on your back in reclined butterfly, you can take an option with a reclined butterfly. If you've got a bolster, you can use the bolster either underneath to support the knees, or you may wish to place the feet on top of the bolster and then bring yourself back just a little bit and let the knees fall out. Just making sure that if you are using the bolster, it's a lot easier to let the spine drop down in towards the mat. But if you haven't got the bolster to support the knees or the feet, then you may just have that natural lordosis. So the hands can come out to the side of you and just roll the shoulders away from the ears and just spread out through the shoulder blades here. And soften the facial expressions, soften the skull and the neck and throat. And take some steady breaths as you just come to lying down on your mat after whatever day you have had. Just let your day go. Allow that inhale breath to travel all the way around the body. Into the arms, all the way down to the palms and the fingertips. Even feel the fingertips. And the breath travels all the way down through the spine into the hips, the legs, traveling down the knees and into the feet. And you can feel the soles of the feet connecting. Maybe the toes are touching, maybe they're not. But again, feel that kind of sensation of the tips of your toes. And slow down your exhale breath. And as the breath brings you into the present moment, just take a note of how the body is actually feeling as you lie here. With each breath out, you're letting go even further, even more. Not holding on to anything that you do not need for this practice. And this is our end of the month Spring Yin practice. So as we welcomed British summertime this week, the longer days are now here, and I guess you're probably starting to see more flowers and trees starting to bud and bloom. So our practice today will be about growth and that kind of nourishment. And blooming and flourishing. Take a moment just to invite an intention for practice. Whatever that intention may be for you. Steady breaths. Bring some movement back into the fingers. Start to stroke the fingertips against the heels of the hands and the palm. And just clench the fists here. So just draw the knuckles in. So if you do have long nails, don't kind of pierce the palms too much, but just nice little clench. Make the thumb just press over the top of the index finger knuckle. Don't hold the breath. So still breathe as you're clenching the fists. And then on your next inhale breath, just release the palms and release the fingers. Open them out as if they were a flower opening out in the sunlight. And continue the breath, stretching the fingers away. Stretching open the palm. On your next exhale breath, make that fist once more. So just close the fingers in. Press the thumb gently over the top of the index finger knuckle. And the next inhale, release out and stretch the palms, opening up. Continuing to breathe. Wiggling the fingers this time, circling the wrists. Lifting the arms up above the head, interlace the fingers and just press back through the palms. Give yourself a big stretch. Maybe just breathe in and then yawn out as you stretch the mouth, stretch the face. And then release the hands down to the thighs and just lift the legs together. And if you've got that bolster there, you can just rest the feet on top, or you might wish to just rest the thighs on top. So just relaxing into a more neutral position for the hips, the inner thighs, and the spine. Take a few moments breath as you recover from reclined butterfly. Letting the belly drop towards the lower back and the lower back down in towards the mat. Then drawing the knees in towards the chest, start to gently roll and massage out through the spine, just rocking from side to side, just feeling the pelvis, the tailbone, the sides of your waist, the lower back, the middle back, the rib cage, the shoulder blades. And then find stillness as you draw the thighs towards the chest and just gently drop the chin over to the shoulder. Doesn't matter which way. Little stretch through the neck here. Continue to breathe. Then breathe in as you bring the chin back into center and then exhale over to the other side. Little stretch. Next inhale, bring back into center. Let's take our first posture. Pushing your bolster away. And then placing your right foot across your left, coming into reclined pigeon. So interlacing the fingers behind the left thigh, keeping a flexion into that right foot as if you're pressing the sole of the foot away. And maybe using that right arm as leverage towards the right knee. So keep the spine nice and long, lengthening the tailbone down, and maybe you feel a little tight into that right glute, the right hip. If you're sitting down a lot in your day, this might be a real good one for you. So we're holding for a few minutes. Relaxing the breath and the facial expression, the neck and the throat. Slow, deep breath to release even deeper. Really try and feel that letting go in that right hip, right glute. To make this more challenging for yourself, you want to start drawing that left knee towards you. And the right knee presses out to the side, opening up the hip. And nice and slowly release the hands, release the left foot down, and release the right foot. If the fingers feel a little tight, just give those a wiggle. Just find a resting pose here so the feet go wide, knees come in towards one another, because sometimes when we're in that interlace, we're gripping so much behind that thigh. So really just release the fingers. Try to relax the buttocks in this rest before coming to the other side. Heel toe the feet in, left foot goes over right, flexion through that left ankle, and you just gently push that knee out and then interlace those fingers underneath the thigh and then draw the right knee towards you using leverage of your left elbow. So again, really drawing down the tailbone, pelvis is nice and flat, spine is long, facial expression is soft, relaxed face, forehead, shoulders are relaxed. Using the breath out to release and let go of tightness, clenching, gripping. Deepening the posture by drawing that right knee closer towards the chest. Keeping that flexion through the left ankle and leverage of the left knee. Just a few more breaths. Gently release the hands, release the foot down, and take that resting pose as you just release through the fingers. Give them a wiggle. Rest the hands out to the side. Take a moment just to feel the balance right to left. Try to relax the glutes as much as you can in this resting pose, because we quite often really tense and hold the glutes. Try and relax everything in the pelvic region. Heel toe the feet in. Draw the knees into parallel. And knees to chest, and just roll and massage out once more. Getting a little bit wider with the knees, so you can start to press the knees out to the side of you, drawing the thighs down to the rib cage. Going to take a little happy baby here, so lifting up the feet, flexing through the ankles once more, and rocking from side to side. Maybe a knee drops down towards the mat. Then finding that stillness as you lengthen the tailbone and draw the thighs downwards towards the outer edges of your ribcage and mat. So the spine is really connected from tail to neck. Back of the skull is resting nice and comfortably. You're not lifting the chin up too much. Facial expression is soft, maybe a little smile. If you feel your pelvis and tailbone starting to lift, breathe out, draw it back downwards towards the mat. A few more breaths. Then release the hands, release the feet down, and find that resting pose once more where you drop the knees in towards one another. Relax the inner thighs, the outer thighs, and the glutes all as one. Breathe out. Again, give the fingers, the hands a little wiggle if you've held onto the feet too tightly. And then heel toe the feet into parallel. Hands come down by the side of your body, pressing into the palms, pressing into the feet, just lifting the hips, rolling up nice and carefully into a bridge. So sending the knees forward as you lengthen through the thighs, lifting the hips, engaging the glutes and keeping that distance between the inner thighs and the knees, pressing the thighs outwards as it were, and really pressing into the feet and the heels. Rolling up onto the shoulders, neck is long. Holding breathing. Feel comfortable. And slowly roll down, shoulders, upper back, middle back, lower back, tailbone. Windscreen wiper the knees out to the side. Just let the knees release right and left. You're just rolling onto the outer and the inner edges of your feet. Just repeating twice more, right and left. And bringing back into center, rolling over to one side, just dropping the knees over, giving yourself a little press. Take time to come up. I'm going to turn around to kneeling into tabletop. I'm going to take my socks off here. Hi, Hannah. So let's find tabletop position, cat and cow. Just start to mobilize a little bit through the spine here with that breath. So breath-led movement. If you've been attending our flow classes through March, you'll know that we've been really using our breath, the flow of the breath through flow of movement. So exhaling into cat, inhaling into your cow. You can embellish this by tucking the toes, if you like, giving yourself a little toe stretch on your cow and releasing to the tops of the feet for your cat. Just a few more. Let's take it back into a wide leg child's pose. You can always use a bolster to lie on or a block. Release the hips back towards the heels. Give yourself a little wiggle room. Get the belly all the way between the thighs. Maybe the hands come out in front and stretch and lengthen the spine. Whatever your child's pose is, you're going to stay there for a few minutes. So really allow a deep sense of release, letting go and surrender here. Trying to release any stress from the mind or the body. Being comfortable in each posture, but really trying to find your edge. Each breath, let go a little bit more. Breathe through the spine, through the back body. And then breathing in, pressing yourself up, lifting back up into a tabletop and just sway the hips a little bit. So lifting up the left arm, threading the needle here, opening up through the side body, and then sending that arm through and under. Your right arm can stay on its palm. You might bring it forward towards the front of the mat, or you might wish to take a bind. All options, of course, keeping the hips nice and high here, above the knees. So just opening up into the side body, drawing the abdomen back in towards the spine just a little bit. A couple more breaths here. We're not here for too long. Bring the right palm back if it was stretched forward or took a bind. Open up that left arm once more. See if you get a little bit more depth in that opening. Good. And then reach the left arm down. Right arm reaches up, pressing the back of the hand away and then threading through. Softly come down onto the ear, side of the head, choosing the option, sending the arm forward or taking a bind. Keeping the hips nice and high above the knees, and just relaxing into the toes, the top of the feet here, drawing the abdomen in. And just bringing that left palm back to press up, opening up the right arm and the right side of the body, getting more open, more expansion, and hand comes down. Let's bring ourselves all the way down onto our belly. Lowering the hips, hands come underneath the head, bring the big toes to touch, and just let the ankles fall out to the side as you just sway the hips from side to side. So come into a Sphinx pose here, maybe widening the feet if you need. More challenges, obviously, with the feet together. So the arms come out in front of you, just drop through the pelvis, open up the chest, keep the shoulders nicely away from the ears, and just look forward to the front of your mat so the neck is in line with the rest of your spine. Closing the eyes, drawing into the breath. Feeling everything here in this posture. We do it quite often, but sometimes I feel that we don't feel everything. So really feel from crown of the head right down to the toes, everything that you're experiencing in Sphinx. There's actually quite a lot going on for such a basic posture. Steady and even flow of breath. Not letting yourself collapse on the exhale. And for the last minute, you have the option here of introducing the feet. So you can widen the knees to the outer edges and bring the toes up. Dropping through the pelvis, keeping the pubic bone and the hips connected. Maybe those toes are touching. Maybe they're apart. Keep the chest nice and lifted. Just here for 1 minute. And slowly lower the feet and widen the elbows. Roll down slowly into that prone neutral posture. Toes come together, heels fall out, and just sway out. Let the belly, the spine relax. So a little chest opener. And you can take this as it comes to you today. So the left arm goes out to the side or further down towards the hip. And the right hand just gives you a bit of leverage as the right foot comes over. So you can rest the head down. I'm going to kick my bolster out of the way. If the right foot doesn't quite go over, you can bring it back in front of you and just work with the chest opener. So it's a hip and a chest opener, and the deeper that shoulder opener is if the hand is in line with the shoulder. So that's why I say bring it down towards the hip if that's quite deep for you. Here for a couple of minutes. And gently bring the right leg back. Roll back onto your stomach and just bring the hands by the side of the body, palms face up, turn to the right cheek. Right arm stretches out. And then just pushing yourself over onto your right hip, left leg may go over. Ooh, this one's tighter. And that left hand just rests in front of you, so it kind of stabilizes you a little bit. Again, making those options for yourself. If it's too tight into the shoulder, draw the hand a little bit closer down towards the hip. Keep that left knee lifting up towards the sky. Foot might be down onto the floor or resting on the leg. And try to relax as much as you can in this posture. Might not be a familiar one. Certainly don't do it a lot. And slowly roll yourself back over. Release the hands by the hips and turn onto the left cheek. Let's just release those shoulders just a little bit. So fingertips come up in front of you and you can press down onto the palms or the fingertips and just release up into a nice low seal. And just circle the shoulders, circle the seal. And then last time you can come up and stay. Maybe up onto the fingertips or the palms, keeping the pubic bone and hip bones down and shoulders aren't creeping up towards the ears. You are pressing away from the mat so the chest is nice and open, looking forward, neck is in line with the spine. Lifting up abdomen, those tops of the feet pressing down into the mat, glutes are engaged. And slowly widen the elbows to lower down the belly, the rib cage, the chest. Hands come underneath the head, big toes touch, sway and release out everything here. And press yourself back through tabletop. Sway out if you need to, a few rounds of cat and cow, your choice. Maybe you might notice you have a little bit more mobility in the spine. Oh, I certainly do. And then let's get a dragon lunge going on here so you can have your blocks if you wish to support you, or you might use your bolster underneath your thigh. So right leg comes forward. And you can choose to have that foot facing forward or winging it out to the side, making sure that that knee tracks over the middle toe. And you can choose the options here. You might use the blocks to come down onto the forearms to just stay. We're going to stay in a nice low lizard or low dragon lunge here. Just a couple of minutes on each side. Dropping, releasing, sinking, melting. Deep breaths out. Gently coming out of wherever you were. Maybe the forearms were down. And then just pull back into a half splits there. Just pulling up those toes, little hamstring stretch. You can fold over the leg. We're not holding it, just a release. And then change sides. So right leg comes back, left leg forward. So again, you can use your bolster to prop up your back thigh, choosing the option of the foot facing forward, or as I prefer to wing it out to the side. But Always your option. And then coming down onto forearms, down onto the blocks or to the mat, or just staying up onto the fingertips or the palms. So just noticing as you transition, the release, the letting go, the sinking and the melting once more. Each breath out, releasing just a little bit more. And gently coming out of wherever you were, taking it slow. And pulling back the hips, drawing that foot into the center, lifting up the toes towards the shin, taking a soft bend into that knee should you need to, just releasing into that back hamstring and taking that fold over with a nice deep breath out if you wish. And then bending gently through the front left leg and sweeping it back. Take a moment just to sway out and just come to kneeling. Bringing the heels underneath the buttocks, sitting nice and tall, just dropping the shoulders, feeling the spine coming back into alignment. And the hands come back behind us, just lifting up the hip, little quad stretch. So sending the hips forward. Looking forward or looking to the sky, your choice here. Open the chest, open the shoulders, lift the hips, and gently come back. So just flipping over the toes, pulling yourself back into a forward fold, ragdoll. So making sure the feet are parallel, and you can just release through the toes, release through the heels. We don't often do a ragdoll, but as we're working with the legs, let's release the belly, the chest down to the thighs. Let the head relax. You can take hold of the elbows. And then you can find your ragdoll here by straightening up through the legs if you wish. Try not to clench the toes. Keeping the weight equal in the feet and the heels, toes and heels. And just breathing out any tightness. Breathing into the spine. Breathing into the back of the legs, back of the knees. Release the hands, softly bend the knees. And heel toe the feet out. Malasana squat. You can always sit on a block here, or you can bring the buttocks down between the heels. Just give yourself a little bit of wiggle room before you get into there. Elbows draw in towards the knees and the hands draw into the heart. Lengthening the spine, shoulders are rolled away from the ears and the neck is nice and long. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky and the sit bones reach towards the earth. Think about whether the ankles are rolling inwards or forward. It's such a tiny, subtle little movement that you can just roll the ankles backwards, which might give you a bit more leverage into the opening of the hips and the legs. And the heels may not meet the floor, so they do not have to. A few more breaths, doing great. We've worked up to this one. Release the hands. Lift the hips. Heel toe the feet back into that parallel of your ragdoll. And just sway from side to side as you release. And then come down gently into the knees and swing the legs around in front of you. So coming into Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose or half butterfly, lots of names. Right leg comes in towards the thigh, and keep that foot nice and flexed here. So try not to let the ankle kind of go all floppy, but really flex the foot into the thigh. And just gently press that knee out just a little bit so you can release it down. See where it can go. Try to release out into that hip a little. And then lifting up the arms and exhale. Release over the leg. Let the head relax towards the knee. Let the shoulders be soft. Each inhale, you might be lifting just a little bit more, giving yourself that extension of the spine, and the exhale, deepening more, letting the head, the body release down towards the knee and the thigh. Be strong through that ankle. And starting to lift the chest, lift the spine, lengthen, walk the hands back, and then lift the knee and take it over into a twist. So really ground through that big toe, ground through that foot, and start to twist towards the thigh, opening up the chest, getting the belly free. Maybe the elbow comes across, or maybe you just simply hug. So we're staying here for about a minute. Close the eyes, work through that rotation of the spine. Breathing in to lengthen, breathing out to deepen the rotation if you wish. And bringing yourself back into center and releasing the legs into dragonfly, so wide-legged. Give yourself a little wiggle. We're going to take a full forward fold here, so folding down, keeping the toes from rolling inwards by just rolling the thighs back. You can rest the head on a block if you like, or you can just keep the spine and long and chest lifted. And if the inner thighs are a little too tight here, you can always sit on a block. That tends to lift the hips up, lift the body up. And starting to walk the hands back as you bring the body up. Lifting the legs in. And just press the knees together here. We'll come into the other side of Janu Shirshasana, half butterfly and your twist. So right leg goes forward, left leg comes in to the thigh. And again, just make sure that that foot is flexed and you're not dropping through the ankle. Give that knee a little press out. And sit nice and tall, breathing in and breathing out, releasing over the leg. Try and center the shoulders so you're not dropping one shoulder more than the other. So you're drawing the chest down as parallel, letting the head release to the knee. Keeping the ankle strong. Giving yourself that little lift on the inhale, giving space between the belly and the thigh. Exhaling. Maybe you get a bit more depth into the fold, letting the head relax, let it be heavy. And then lengthening the spine, opening the chest, and bringing yourself up. Lifting the knee up and over, placing the sole of the foot either by the thigh or by the calf, grounding through that foot, really drawing that big toe down, getting the belly free from the thigh, taking the twist. Closing the eyes, breathing in to lengthen, relaxing the shoulders as you breathe out and deepen the rotation. Breathe in, bring yourself back into center and bring the legs out. Hands come back behind you, just windscreen wiper those knees out to the side. So you're going to drop onto both knees, lifting up that hip, stretching through the hip flexor and over to the other side. And then let's come down onto our backs once more. So making sure that you're nice and warm, drawing the knees in towards the chest. And just as you return back to where we began, notice now how your spine connects, really dropping through the tailbone, the pelvis, the hips are heavy. The belly drops towards the lower back towards the mat. And just massage a little bit more into the waist. So this time the right leg crosses over the left thigh. And you take hold of the feet, shoelace pose. So you draw those knees in towards the chest and you're pulling the feet down towards the buttocks. Shoulders are down. You might feel this if your right leg is on top and the thighs are connected. You may feel this into the right buttock and the right hip. So again, try not to hold those ankles too tightly. Otherwise, the fingertips will go white. Keep pulling the ankles outwards to the side if you can. So they're kind of pulling out to the outer hip of the glute. Try to keep the knees in the center line of the body. So your right knee is really in the center of your chest. Breathing out, slow, long, deep breath might release further tension, tightness, gripping. And slowly release the hands, release the feet, take them wide, drop the knees in towards one another, resting pose. Just allow that right hip, right glute to respond when it comes out of the posture. Drawing both knees in, rolling, massaging out. Opening up the hips just a little bit once more, finding a little bit more freedom in the hips after the practice, and then crossing left thigh over right. You're really getting those thighs together, and then taking hands over the ankles. Oh, a little different this side. Try and find that balance. So you're going to draw the heels downwards towards the outer hip, and you're going to draw that left knee in towards the chest. Try to relax the arms down by the side of the body if you can, and relax the shoulders, the throat, and the face. Breathe deeply, slowly into that left glute, left hip. So the legs here are technically what would be your cow face legs. You're just helping them along by holding the ankles. Really drawing that left thigh closer to the belly and the chest. You can see this one might not be a favorite. A few more breaths, almost there. Slowly release the hands, release the legs, take them wide once more, toes turn in, heels out, knees drop together. Relax everything around the hips, the glutes. And heel toe the feet into parallel. Draw them in, roll and massage out. And this time arms come out to the side of you, knees tucked in together. You keep the knees and the feet together and just drop the knees over to the side, trying to keep the chest nice and open to the sky. Maybe the knees come down, maybe the feet come down. Try to keep the knees together. Try to keep the left shoulder drawing downwards. If you want to challenge, lift the head, look towards the left palm. Breathe in, bring them back into center. Breathe out, feet, knees, go over to the other side, rolling onto the left hip. Maybe the feet come down, maybe the knees. But if the knees come down and you start pulling the right shoulder away from the mat, draw the shoulder down and keep the knees up. So you might have to engage a little bit into the core to hold them, or you can use a block there. And then challenging yourself, if you wish to look towards your right palm. Breathing in, lift the head, lift the legs, and hug it in. Roll and massage out. If there's something else that you feel you need right now, maybe it's just a big old stretch of the legs, move through the feet, the ankles, maybe another happy baby, or maybe you're happy just to come into your final relaxation of Shavasana. Make yourself comfortable and warm. Settling back into the final posture for practice today, Shavasana. Allowing the mind to empty of all thoughts, being present with the breath, being present with the body, and allowing your body now to rest and recover, and just taking note how it feels, and slowing and steadying the breath, equal in to equal out. And as this was our spring yin for bringing growth and blooming and flourishing, for any plant to grow well, the health of the soil is most important. And like soil, the health of our minds is dependent on what we feed it. And to set clear goals, to find our purpose, or to progress on our spiritual path, it is essential that we overlay the more persistent weeds of confusion, doubt, frustration, or irritability with seeds of clarity, focus, commitment, dedication, and perseverance. As we carefully tend the garden of our mind, the flowers of clarity, inspiration, and creativity will no doubt bloom. I'll leave you for a few minutes of silence and let you know when it's time to come back around. Beginning to take a few deeper breaths. Bringing awareness back into your surroundings as you breathe. Beginning to awaken the mind and the body. Wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. Choosing to stretch, drawing the knees in, rolling, massaging out, taking time. And returning to a comfortable seat, maybe sitting on a block or a bolster if that's what you need. And just allow the spine to be long, sitting nice and tall, firm, yet relaxed. With a little smile on your face. As we enter spring, and you too, just as the trees will bud and the flowers will bloom, you will grow and flourish and bloom yourselves through this season, following your own personal intention, which you may have brought into your practice today, but also how you can take that into the rest of your week. Nurturing and growing. And always remembering to give yourself thanks and gratitude to your body, to your breath. And I thank you all. Namaste.